The billionaire CEO fell in love with the cleaner he bullied. The glass doors of Titan Group's headquarters swung open like a scene from a movie, revealing a man in a custom-made charcoal suit with the swagger of a king and the heart of a stone. Zayden Okonkwo. The CEO. The devil in Prada. The billionaire tech genius who built Titan from scratch and crushed anyone who stood in his way. Every morning, the building shifted when he walked in. Conversations halted. Staff scurried like ants, adjusting ties, rechecking spreadsheets, whispering warnings. He's in a bad mood today. No eye contact. Don't breathe too loud. But not Amara. She stood near the main lobby with a mop in her hand and fire in her soul. Her name tag read cleaner, but her brain held more power than half the boardroom. She didn't flinch when Zayden passed her, didn't tremble when he eyed the spot of water she missed. Instead, she glanced up with polite calm. Apologies, sir. Slippery floors. Safety first. He stopped. No one ever spoke first. No, not to him. Zayden turned sharply. His eyes, dark and dangerous, studied her. Do I look like I care about slippery floors, cleaner? Her lips curled into the faintest smile. You will if you slip and break your billionaire neck, sir. The hallway gasped. One intern fainted. Another ducked behind a ficus. But Amara turned back to her work, unbothered. Zayden stood frozen. Something about her unnerved him. And he hated that. What's her name again? Zayden asked coldly, sipping his espresso in the boardroom as he reviewed performance reports with his assistant, Bola. Amara Nwankwo, sir. New cleaner. Been here for 4 months. Always early. No complaints. Keeps to herself. Background. Graduated first class in computer science from Unilag. Parents got sick. Took on 3 jobs to survive. Zayden raised a brow. And she ended up mopping my floors. Bola nodded. Life isn't fair, sir. Zayden chuckled darkly. Tell me about it. For the next few days, Amara noticed things changing. Her mop bucket would mysteriously be moved. Her shift schedule altered without notice. Security guards shadowed her every move. One afternoon, as she cleaned near the executive floor, Zayden's voice boomed from his office. Miss Nwankwo. She stepped in. Yes, sir. Clean that window. And don't speak unless spoken to. Amara nodded calmly and went to work. 10 minutes later, he knocked over a coffee mug. Oops, he said, dryly. Clean that too. She didn't flinch. Of course, sir. Next time, maybe use a coaster. Zayden nearly choked on his breath. It was during the quarterly tech update presentation that everything changed. The IT team was panicking. Their software simulation had crashed, and the board was losing patience. Amara, mopping near the door, glanced at the screen. Your code's recursive loop is causing a stack overflow, she said absent-mindedly. Delete line 452 and rewrite the function call to iterate. Heads turned. Zayden narrowed his eyes. What did you just say? Apologies, sir. I overheard. Just trying to help. He motioned to the tech lead. Try it. Now. The line was deleted. The simulation restarted. It worked. The room erupted in disbelief. Zayden stared at her like she was an alien. How did you know that? Amara looked away. I read. A lot. Chapter 4, Obsession and Secrets. From that day, Zayden watched her differently. Not like a cleaner. Like a puzzle. She knew things. Solved things. Understood tech as if it were a language. He started leaving notes in his office trash bin, fake errors written on whiteboards. She'd erase and fix them with chalk. Every morning, he checked. Every morning, She'd solved it. He grew obsessed. Who was she? Why was someone that brilliant mopping floors? One evening, he waited until she was done. Amara, join me for dinner. She looked at him like he was mad. No, thank you, sir. He blinked. No one ever said no to Zayden Okonkwo. Zayden couldn't sleep that night. He paced his penthouse, still in his suit, whiskey in hand. Her refusal echoed in his head. No, thank you, sir. Had she smiled when she said it? Or was he imagining it? He punched a button on his remote, pulling up the security feeds. There she was, walking out the gate with her backpack and dignity intact. Something stirred in him. Something dangerous. The next day, he summoned Bola. Promote her. To what? She's a cleaner. Find something. She's not just a cleaner. She's better than half the tech team. Amara was called to HR. They offered her a position as a junior analyst. She stared at the paper. This must be a mistake. Orders from the top, the HR manager said. She signed. But her guard went up. Zayden was planning something. She knew it. The office was buzzing. Amara came in wearing a modest blouse and skirt, her head held high. The same people who once walked past her now whispered as she passed. Zayden watched from his glass office. She looked different. Confident. Brilliant. But wary. He invited her again to dinner. This time, through Bola. Tell him I don't fraternize with management. Zayden smirked when he heard her response. It became a game. He'd leave her notes, chocolates, even books. She'd leave them behind. Except the books. Those she took. Finally, after weeks of persistence, she walked into his office. Why are you doing this? Zayden stood slowly. Because you intrigued me. You bullied me. Humiliated me. And I was wrong. You don't strike me as the apologizing type. I wasn't. Until you. Amara stared at him, conflicted. And walked away. But Zayden saw it in her eyes. She'd stopped hating him. She just didn't know what to feel now. A week later, Titan Group hosted a tech conference. Amara was asked to present the prototype of an app she'd helped develop as part of her new team. She wore a simple navy blue dress and stood confidently before a room filled with the industry's elite. Zayden sat in the front row. Proud. But silent. When she finished her pitch, the room gave her a standing ovation. That night, he waited by her office door. I meant it, Amara. I want to get to know you. Not as a CEO. As a man. She sighed. I don't know if I can ever forget how you treated me. Then let me give you new memories to outweigh the old. She looked at him. For the first time, really looked. And she said, softly, one dinner. That's it. They met at a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking the Lagos skyline. Zayden wasn't wearing a suit. No guards. No assistant. Just him. And 2 glasses of palm wine. You drink palm wine? She asked, surprised. I grew up in Enugu before the money. I remember a time when all I had was curry and salt. Amara blinked. Zayden Okonkwo, the man who ruled Lagos like a god, had been poor. Why did you change? She asked. He smiled bitterly. Because when I was kind, the world walked over me. When I became ruthless, they listened. Amara nodded slowly. Power changes people. But so can love. He looked at her then, as if hearing the word for the first time. And for the first time in a long while, he felt something soft move in his chest. Hope. Days passed after their dinner, and something subtle began shifting between them. Zayden no longer backed orders at his staff. He greeted people. Sometimes even smiled. People noticed. Amara did too. He began sending her morning messages, simple quotes, thoughtful words. She replied with one-word answers. Then, one afternoon, Zayden called her into his office. "There's a startup I want to invest in. They are developing AI for medical diagnostics. I want you to review their model." Amara blinked. "Me? Why not your R&D head?" "Because I trust your instincts." The air shifted. Later that night, Amara found herself replaying his words. "I trust your instincts." She had heard 1,000 compliments in her life. But that one stuck. Amara went home that weekend to visit her mother in Yoba. Zayden sent her a text. "Be safe. Let me know when you're back." She hesitated, then replied, "I will." At home, her mother watched her closely. "Your eyes are soft, Amara. Who is he?" She smiled faintly. "No one. Yet." When she returned Monday morning, a surprise awaited her. A small glass box on her desk, inside it a preserved sunflower and a note. "For the girl who grew even in darkness." Amara held the box to her chest. The billionaire was falling. And so was she. Amara and Zayden were honeymooning in Seychelles, soaking in the peace they'd earned through pain. The media still buzzed about the billionaire CEO who married his former cleaner, but they ignored it all. Until the third day. A message arrived on Zayden's private phone. "No number. No signature. You took what's mine. Now, I'm taking everything from you." Amara noticed the tension in his jaw as he read. "Who is it?" He looked at her, eyes haunted. "Someone I thought was dead." Zayden returned to Lagos in secret, leaving Amara behind for safety. He met with his old mentor, Mr. Okeke, a former intelligence officer now retired. The text came from Vincent Iola. Zayden's blood ran cold. Vincent had been his childhood friend, brilliant, ruthless, and the co-founder of Titan Group before disappearing 5 years ago in a corporate scandal that nearly destroyed them both. "I thought he fled the country." "He didn't flee. He's been planning." Within a week, strange things began happening. Titan's servers were hacked. Board members received threats. Investors began pulling out. A fake article emerged, claiming Amara forged her degree and seduced her way to power. Amara was devastated. "It's like they're trying to erase everything I worked for." Zayden clenched his fist. "Vincent wants Titan back. And he wants me broken." Chapter 4, Divide and Destroy. Vincent returned under a new identity, Victor Abayomi, launching a rival tech firm, Onyx Systems, using stolen Titan prototypes. He offered Amara a position publicly, knowing it would start controversy. The media exploded. Amara refused the offer, but Zayden's paranoia grew. "He's using you against me." "You think I'd betray you?" she snapped. "I think Vincent knows how to get in our heads." They started to argue. To doubt. To unravel. Amara visited Mr. Okeke alone. "Zayden won't tell me everything," she said. Okeke handed her a file. Inside were documents, emails, proof that years ago, Zayden had helped frame Vincent for embezzlement to save the company. Vincent had gone into hiding and lost everything. Amara's hands trembled. So Zayden had lied. Again. Amara returned home that night, her eyes cold. "You let me believe Vincent was a monster. You ruined his life." Zayden stood silent. "I was protecting Titan. He was stealing. You made yourself judge and jury." He stepped forward. "And I lost my soul doing it. Until I met you." But Amara stepped back. "I need time." And she left. Vincent met Amara at a charity event. He was smooth, charismatic, and subtle in his manipulation. "He lied to you, Amara." Just like he lied to everyone. I'm not joining your company. I don't need you to. I need you to realize he's no hero. And before she could leave, he handed her a flash drive. Watch this. Then decide who deserves your loyalty. Zayden, shattered by Amara's absence, began making amends, publicly apologizing to the board for his past with Vincent, submitting himself to a private investigation. He held a press conference. I've made mistakes. But Titan isn't built on perfection, it's built on redemption. The public response was mixed. But the board began to trust again. Amara watched the video. It wasn't what she expected. It showed Vincent threatening a former intern who tried to expose him years ago. It showed his dissent, rage, greed, and obsession with destroying Zayden. Amara realized Zayden had tried to protect everyone, even if it meant sacrificing his truth. She returned to him. I know everything. I'm sorry I left. Zayden took her in his arms. I would have waited forever. Together, they launched Titan's biggest innovation yet, an AI platform built on transparency and community involvement. Vincent tried to sue. He lost. He tried to attack. He failed. Eventually, he was arrested for corporate espionage and blackmail. Zayden and Amara stood side by side at the courthouse. This ends here, Zayden said. Vincent, in cuffs, simply replied, for now. Amara stood before a crowd at a global tech summit, introducing herself not as a Cleaner CEO wife, but as a visionary leader in her own right. Zayden watched proudly from the front row. They had faced betrayal, secrets, and sabotage. But love, truth, and courage had triumphed. Their story wasn't just about falling in love. It was about rising, together. The end.